Honesty is the theme of the week, and I thought I'd do it a little bit differently this time, because normally what I do with these thought bubble videos is beforehand I kind of plan out a script, so I kind of know what points I'm gonna hit. I know roughly where I'm gonna go with it, but this time I thought, you know, it's honesty. Let's just do it raw. Let's just not do little cuts and edits. I'm just gonna speak honest thoughts on honesty. So I haven't got a script, I haven't got anything like that. Literally the only thing I've got is like a couple of Bible verses. So we'll see how we do. And normally, because I filmed these videos on the Saturday before you see them, and I forgot my selfie sticks in school. So I'm literally just holding the camera. But it's honest, it's raw, it's real. So we'll see how we go. Honest thoughts on honesty. The first thing I thought was that honesty isn't something we see a lot. Frankly, honesty is something that is hard to come by. It's rare for people to be honest people and to show honesty a lot of the time. And it's something that we love to see in people, but we hate it when we don't see it in people. I don't need to say, oh, imagine if someone told you that they would do something, or they said this is true, they gave you some bit of information, they said they would do something for you, and then they let you down. They weren't honest about what they said. Everyone knows what that feels like. We can so easily think of example after example after example where people haven't been honest, where people have let us down. And we hate it when that happens. We hate not having people be honest with us. And you know, God's the same. Proverbs 12:22, God says, the Lord detests lying lips, detests them. He hates lies, but he delights in people. He loves people. He loves to see when people are trustworthy. And I think we're the same. You know, we can hate it so much when people aren't honest with us and they don't stick to their word. And they present themselves to be one thing and then they turn out to be something different. We hate that, but we love it. We delight when people are trustworthy. So I think that's the first thing, that we don't see honesty a lot around. But you know, although we don't see honesty around and we want to see it more in other people, I wonder how many of us, ooh, hello, that's echoey. I wonder how many of us feel like that, because I think we all do, which presents a bigger problem. Because if every one of us feels like no one around us is being honest, and everyone feels like that, surely that includes me. Surely that includes you. Surely we've got to admit that if we're finding everyone's thinking, oh, there's no honest people in the world anymore, then we're all part of that problem, right? I think part of it is we want to see honesty in other people, but honesty is something we're afraid to be and show ourselves. Honesty is something that we want all the other people in our lives to show, but we're afraid to take that step. We're afraid to show honesty to other people and be honest and kind of lay everything out and have people see that. That can scare us, I think. And so maybe one of the reasons why we don't see honesty a lot is because we're afraid of it. We're afraid of letting people see exactly who we are. There's a cyclist coming up. I get a little bit nervous. I'll be honest, I will. I get a bit nervous when I'm filming things like this because I feel a bit self-conscious because random people are just going by and I'm just talking to myself. So I'll be brave. Here we go. I might say good morning. So we'll see. Oh, I think he might have passed me before. Morning. I did all right. I think I did all right. So, yeah, I think honesty, we're afraid to let people see who we really are at times. I feel like two big reasons that we are dishonest is one, selfishness, where we know we've messed up and we're trying to hide it, and secondly, fear that people will see a part of us that we don't want them to see. We're not comfortable with them seeing. We kind of put a mask over ourselves, a cover, and we don't want people to truly see certain parts of us. We're not confident enough to be honest with people. Kind of related to this, I was thinking of a place to film this whole thing, and I was thinking, I'm running out of beautiful looking places, and at this time of year, I mean, like, things look better at different times of years, basically. I mean, the trees are dead, the grass is just a bit brown and rubbish, and things I've definitely filmed in better places. But, you know, I think that's a lesson we can learn, because so much of our lives we want to present as being perfect. We want to present it as being beautiful. We want to filter over everything so that when people see us, they think everything's great, and we aren't honest with the times where, you know, things don't look good. Oh, speaking of that though, this looks nice. Those flowers are good. But I guess that's part of it. There are seasons in our lives where things are beautiful, but then there are seasons where things are a bit more dead, where things are a bit more ugly. Oh, horses! There's horses. There's horses. That's cool. I'm gonna have to cut this down, because I see, normally when I plan these things, I have a definite end. I know when I'm going to end, how I'm going to end, because otherwise I'm just going to ramble and it's going to go on forever. So what you're probably watching is the highlights of what I'm saying, but I think I'll put like an extended cut on the channel and like a highlight part that you're going to watch in form. So this is the highlights. Hope you're having fun, and do your booklet. I know that some people don't, but yeah, have a go. So I think we need to be more honest with ourselves, to say that it's okay to have seasons where we're fine and seasons where we're not. And every single person faces that. I face that. There are times when I have to stand up in front of you all and do a worship assembly or something like that, and the stuff happening in my life, the stuff that happened yesterday in school or whatever, and I'm feeling awful, and I have to stand up and help you and teach you, and sometimes that can be hard. Sometimes there can be times when I'm walking down the corridor, maybe a break or something, and you see me, you say hi, I say hi, and sometimes I have to be honest, there are times when I'm not feeling great at that moment. We all go through times like that, and honesty, I feel, is so key in helping one another in those times, because we can so easily shut down and hide ourselves away. And I know I'm saying this, and I'm exactly this kind of person, so I need to listen to my own advice on this, but we can easily shield ourselves away, cut ourselves off, put the walls up, put the barriers up, because we don't want people to see what we're truly feeling, what we're really like, what's really happening inside. But every single one around of us, that doesn't make sense, every single person around us does the same thing and feels that they're alone. And everyone's feeling that. Everyone's kind of in their isolated little bubble, not wanting people to see that they're broken while everyone else is broken. So part of the solution is having a bit of courage, one of our values, to show what we are feeling, show who we are, be more honest about the things we're scared about being honest about, showing people what we so easily like to hide away. I'm gonna turn around because there's a walker and I'm scared. This is how I want to end. I do know actually how I want to end this, which is to say that honesty is so important for us to have, and honesty is something that the Bible is really shows really this sentence is going well. See, this is what happens when I don't edit. You get things like this. I will edit from now on. I'm sorry. The Bible is so honest about a lot of stuff, is what I was trying to say. The Bible tells us things that is hard to hear. Hard to hear, but we need to hear desperately. I mean, if you went to the doctor, you'd want them to be honest about your condition, even if it's hard to hear. It might be an awful diagnosis, but you need to hear it. And the Bible's the same. God's the same when he speaks to us. Things like our sin. We sin. We mess up. We choose wrong. We choose evil. We lie. We're greedy. We're selfish. And we sin. And sin is something God has to punish. Not because he's evil, but because he's good. He has to punish because he is good. That is a hard thing to hear, but the Bible's got to be honest about it. I should be punished for my sin. And another thing that the Bible's honest about is that we aren't the solution. We can't fix our own position. We can't do it. People say every religion's the same. They all teach to be a good person. I've got to be honest, that's not true. If you ever hear someone say that, tell them, Josh said, the Bible says, that's not true. Every other religion says, be a good person and then you'll get to heaven. God actually tells us in the Bible, you can't do that. You can't be good enough for heaven. You can't. Your sin is too big, too great, too bad, that you can't work your way up. So then what is the solution? How does God solve the problem? He sends Jesus. He sends Jesus to live perfectly, how I haven't lived, and die a death I should die, taking the bullet for me, taking all of the judgment I should have on himself, so that I can be free and forgiven because he's paid my debt. So does that mean that everyone's just forgiven like that and we're all fine? No, it doesn't mean that. Jesus rose again to life, and he tells everyone basically three things: to trust him, to obey him, to love him. Basically, trust him the way you would pick up a shield in a battle and trust that to defend you. Trust him in that kind of way. Obey him in the kind of way that you would obey your favorite teacher, not in like a I've got to obey him, but like a loving kind of obedience, because you know what they're like. You know they're amazing and lovely and kind, and so being obedient to them is easy in a way. And then love him the way you would love a best friend. Jesus wants those three things from you, from me: to trust him, to obey him, to love him. And if we do that, then he says, right, forgiveness is free. Heaven is free for you. That is the incredibly good and honest news that the Bible tells us. So, they are some of my honest thoughts about honesty. I hope you have a fantastic day. And, oh, horses, again, look at them, they're cool. See you soon. Bye for now.